What's up guys, Dan Watson. The day is finally here and we're going to take a look at one of the worst kept secrets. Panasonic had originally kind of announced that they were working on the GH5 back in, I believe, November. So this is something that has been coming for a little while, but now we have an official announcement, which is basically confirming all the things that we thought we knew before. And here are the details that we're going to have. We've got a brand new Panasonic GH5 with a 20 megapixel sensor, and it also shoots 4K at up to 60 frames per second. Now, there is a bunch of very confusing things because a lot of the specs on here are going to be issued via firmware updates. The first one coming out in April, all the way back into June is what it looks like. And so not all of the features are going to be available initially, but basically what we're looking at is that 4K up to 60 frames per second, and we can do 1080p at up to 180 frames per second. So that's going to be massive to be able to shoot some slow motion on that. We also have 4.2.2 recording 10-bit. And again, that feature is not going to be available at launch. It's going to be available in April. So for now, I believe we're going to be stuck with 4.2.0 8-bit until that comes along. However, most of us are going to get our cameras anyway in April, so it probably won't be much of a wait. So that is what we're dealing with there on that side. Now the body, and in and of itself, we've got a lot better handling on it. Basically what we're looking at is a much more weather resistant body than we were used to before. And basically Panasonic has just upped the weather sealing and the durability of this thing even a little bit more than what we're looking at it. We basically have all the ports that we did before, but now we have a full-size HDMI port, and we also have a retainer as well for locking that in. Most of the dials have stayed the same. We now have a new joystick on the back. The big improvement up on the top is that the record button has now been moved up there. So just some small ergonomic changes on that one. Now we do have a new monitor. It is a 3.2 inch with higher resolution, and we do have a brand new viewfinder as well with like 3.6 million dots, I believe. So it's a really, really nice viewfinder. And so those are the kind of improvements that we're working with on the hardware side. Now on the autofocus side, this is an area that Panasonic has never been great on, and it doesn't look like it's going to get a whole lot better here. It's going to be the biggest limitation, I think. We are moving now from 49 AF points to about I believe it's 425 now AF areas that we can select from. Yeah, but they're sticking with their same contrast detection system, and that one, it just hasn't been that great for me. And I mean, I've been using that a lot. I'm shooting this right now on the Panasonic G7. I just put out my G85 review, so definitely go and check that out as well. But it just really isn't great for tracking. For point to point, it's good, but for tracking, it just falls apart. And when you're trying to use it during video, it's always searching and it doesn't know if the object's getting closer or further away until it tries. And it just, overall, it's not very consistent. Not as good as something like the Canon 5D Mark IV, or even Sony's new system in their A6500, A6300, and A7R Mark II. So it's contrast only. That is the only limitation, I think. Also, on the Olympus OMD, the M1 Mark II that's coming out now, we also have on that one a contrast plus phase detection system. So I'm not sure why Panasonic left it the way that it is. Now they say they've improved the algorithms on here, but honestly, based on what I've seen from the recent cameras, I'm not expecting it to be very, very good for tracking. And so that's kind of a limitation on that thing. Now we do have faster readouts, which are going to improve your rolling shutter. We should see improvements as well for frames per second shooting. We should 12 frames per second on the photo side for this, but only 9 with continuous autofocus. So I'd probably limit it at there. Now on the photo side as well, we have lost the AA filter, so you're going to need a little sharper images. We saw that with the G85 as well that I just reviewed. And the big one is going to be the 5-axis image stabilization system. Now this was on the G85 as well. I did have some issues on that one when using it with video. Sometimes it would shake a little bit while moving. It couldn't figure out if it was video or photo, I guess. And so hopefully they've made some finesse on the software side on that one. But it does give you that as well. Also, another big one is that we're no longer dealing with the 2.3x crop that we were on the GH4. So this is now, we're using the full sensor, so you're dealing with a 2.0x crop. And that is going to make low light a little bit better on that side. Now, Panasonic didn't seem too enthralled in the low light capabilities. They do seem to think it's better than the GH4, but I don't expect it to be revolutionary. We're going to see some noise reduction now built into the processing. And actually, there's no way of turning it off as of now. It's just low, medium, and high. So we do have that, and then the addition of using the full sensor. And those are going to kind of integrate to give us a little better performance. I'm going to guess about a stop better at best to what we had on the GH4, which is going to make 1600 ISO look pretty good and 3200 ISO not bad if you need it. I'm not thinking a 6400 ISO is going to be good on that one. I think you're going to have to go with a larger sensor camera like the A6500 or A7S Mark II for something like that one. So yeah, those are the big things. Now we have a battery grip that's a little more photo-centric, and then they now have an audio adapter that you can mount onto the hot shoe, which includes your XLRs and things like that. So we've gotten it a little better tuned than what we had before, where you had that big massive grip on the bottom that required power and batteries. Now you're still getting phantom power, but it's going to come through the hot shoe on that one, and then you can get a normal battery grip like what you would use for your cameras. So that seems really nice. We have 2 SD card slots. They are UHS 2, which is awesome. You're going to need that with the update that's coming this summer, because that's going to allow you to record up to 400 megabytes per second. And so that's going to be a huge update that comes this summer. And the dual SD cards are also hot swappable, it looks like. So that'll be nice. You no longer have a recording limit as well. So 29 minutes, forget it. You can record unlimited on this thing as long as you want. And with the hot swappable cards, you can basically fill up cards all day long. So that's going to be a really, really big improvement on that one. So yeah, things look pretty good. Now here are a couple little things that I'm going to mention. The vlog on it, or the log recording in general, it is going to be an additional $100, just like it was on the GH4. If you bought it for the GH4, you're still looking at buying $100. So that's a little bit of a limitation right there. And so now the big things are going to be dealing with these updates. It's kind of a little bit weird that they would keep it out so far, but I guess this is the future of camera systems, where you put out a camera now and has the specs that are available at that moment, but you keep increasing it via updates. And I'm a little bit disappointed that even after adding all this stuff, they're still charging $100 for vlog. It seems like that was something they would just throw in at this point, or at least if you were a GH4 owner, allow you to basically keep your upgrade in that as a purchase option. So there are a ton of more stuff on the video side as far as basically getting profiles in there. It basically has all their features from their high-end video cameras into this little camera. And so you're getting pretty much everything. Now the price is $19.99. Ship date is in March. I expect this thing to be sold out, so definitely click on the links below and pre-order yours if you want to do it. Check out the Panasonic G85 review I just posted. That is their newest camera with their newest sensor technology and autofocus technology and the 5-axis stabilization. So you can kind of get a feel for potentially what we're looking at on this one. Now, with that new Olympus coming out as well, we're also looking at a 20 megapixel sensor on that, and I do have that camera coming in, so maybe that's going to be about the performance we're going to get from the GH5 when I get that in. So stay tuned, subscribe, and you'll get notified when I get that camera in. And we'll definitely do some tests on that one for low light. Dynamic range also looks about the same with the GH5 to the GH4, so no big improvements on that one. So yeah, that's it. I mean, overall, this seems like a really, really amazing upgrade. We're dealing with a lot of new systems on here. 4K up to 60 frames per second is pretty amazing. The big concerns for me are going to be the low light performance and the autofocus performance. Dealing with both of those is going to be the thing that I think is going to be the biggest decider on whether or not Panasonic has really done something new and different on those sides of things. It's kind of their weakest area right now compared to many of the other camera systems that are out. So sure, the other camera systems are a little bit more expensive and some have iffy ergonomics on the camera side, or you can go with the video side for better ergonomics, but those are a lot more expensive too. But that weakness with the autofocus performance and the low light performance for Panasonic has been a little bit iffy for me. So yeah, we're gonna get this camera in when it comes out for sure. You got a little bit of a wait on that for now, so enjoy that Panasonic G85 review, and also stay tuned for that Olympus review when it comes out. It's the OMD EM1 Mark II, and that should be here hopefully shortly. So stay tuned for that, and hope you like this, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.